Hi, my name is Peter Rundberg. I'm going to show you what we've been showing here at CES 2020 here in Las Vegas. And first I'm going to show you our state-of-the-art driver monitoring system. So up here in the left part of the screen you can see what a driver monitoring system does. So here we are tracking the head position, the head rotation, the gaze direction, and the eyelid movements and mouth movements and so on of a driver in a car. And as you can see with the overlay graphics on the screen here, that it's accurately tracking me regardless how I move and what I do in the car. On top of all these signals, we are then building state-of-the-art drowsiness detection algorithms and driver inattention detection algorithms and so on that can be used to improve the safety of both a manual and an autonomous driving car. What we're also showing in addition to our driver monitoring functionality is our future functionality in the interior sensing space. Over here I'm going to show you how we can combine interior sensing with driver monitoring. In the top right corner of the screen you see a driver monitoring view. You have super high accuracy on my head position and my gaze direction. You can also see in the top left part of the screen that the system has identified me as Peter, which is of course my name, so the system can know and do facial recognition to see who is driving the car. In the main part of the screen here, we're showing body position, how you're sitting in the car, what you're doing with your limbs. We're also tracking objects like cups and food, and also, of course, the main thing in the automotive space, whether or not you are on your phone when you're driving. Now I'm going to go through some of the advantages that you get when you combine driver monitoring with interior sensing. Here in our driving simulator, I'm going to show you the different signals that we can get from the different cameras in the car. So for instance, from the interior sensing system, we can see in the top right part of the screen that I don't have my seatbelt on. So if I take my seatbelt and put my seatbelt across my chest, then it detects that I have a seatbelt, and let me get that in the buckle there. And now I'm safely strapped into the car. It can also detect whether or not I'm sitting in a good position. If I lean out of position, you can see that the car can see that I'm not sitting in a good way and that it might not want to fire the airbag because I'm too close to the steering wheel. You can also see that when I hold my hands out and touch the steering wheel, it detects that I'm holding my hands on the steering wheel, and when I take my hands away from the steering wheel, it can tell that as well. Also, if I take an object and I bring it up to my mouth, like I'm eating, or a cup, I'm drinking, you can see that the system can accurately tell whether or not I'm doing things that could be considered dangerous in a driving scenario. We also do object detection in the rear seat of this car. As you can see now, we have a dog and a child in the child seat in this car. And if we remove the dog from the rear seat, you can also tell that the system then can detect that the dog is no longer in the car. And if we put the dog back, the dog appears again. If we remove the child from the child seat, then the system will detect that there's no longer a child in the child seat, but the child seat is still being detected. And then we put the child back, and the car now knows that we have both a dog and a child in the rear seat. So now that I get out of the car, I unbuckle my seatbelt and I step out, the car will realize that the driver has left the car, and then it will indicate to the driver by sending perhaps a text message or by some audible alert that there's a child and a dog that's been left in the car.